I am your host, FatDag, and you're listening to WhysAdvice. My weight loss journey failed when I focused on how. It wasn't until I switched my focus to why that I truly transformed myself. Join the show on the web at FatDag.com and follow along on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, all at WhysAdvice. Send in your comments, your questions, your celebrations, and I'll include them as part of the show. But before we dive in, remember, when you're out of points, stop eating points. Hey, I'm honored to be your wingman as we walk through this journey together because I believe in you. Well, here we are, 95 in the books. We're coming up on episode 100. And, I listen, just like you guys, I listen to a lot of podcasts, and episode 100 is kind of a big deal. And so I'm going to try and figure out something unique, something special. I don't have a clue. If you've been listening to this show for any length of time, you know I plan the entire thing about 2 minutes before we go on the air. So I'm not putting a ton of thought into it, but I want episode 100 to be special. I want it to be something that we all celebrate together, and I want it to be something where we say, hey, we did this because this is something we're doing together. As you know, this show is 100% content driven. There is no show if you don't email in, if you don't write in. I got nothing to talk about. So, I'm always honored to be here. The fact that we're walking this journey together brings me complete joy. I really do. I mean it when I say I believe in you. I know you have the ability to get this journey done. If you want to do this, if you truly want to do it, I'll walk with you every single step of the way because I believe so much that you can do this. And I'm going to walk with you up until the point where you look at me and you say, hey, Dag, I believe in myself as well. And then at that point, we start believing in the rest of the community, and then we all make gold together. So that's what's very cool. Barbara writes in, the first email for the night Barbara writes in, says, hi, Mike. I'm reading the book Wishes Fulfilled by Dr. Wayne W. Dyer. It reminds me of your words, I believe in you. You stated that we have to feel that we are at goal even before we are there. This mindset enables us to get there. Here is a quote from the book. If you seek on the outside that which you are unwilling or unable to feel on the inside, you are seeking in vain. For you to attain that which you are, not simply what you want, assume the feeling of the wish is fulfilled, and because you are experiencing it, that is what will manifest for you. The subconscious mind creates exactly what you believe in and can feel in your body. Did you ever read his books? Your thinking is so aligned with his. It amazes me. Thank you for your words of wisdom and experience. I will continue on this endless journey, which has become my new lifestyle. God bless you and your work. Barbara from Spencer, Massachusetts. Barbara, no, I've never read the book, but the quote you just sent me makes me want to go get it. So I will absolutely get it. I will add it to fatdag.com to the book list that I have there once I get done reading it. I put everything that I've read out there that kind of helps me in my journey. This sounds like it'll be exactly what I'm looking for as a next read. So once I get done reading it, it'll be on fatdag.com on the book list. But no, you're absolutely right. And so when I was working my weight loss journey, somewhere in the middle, it was after my PT test that I finally passed it for the last time, or not the last time, but for the solid time where I knew I was done struggling with it. At that point, that next day, I knew I hit goal. Because I knew at that point something was so different. I got done taking that test, and instead of going to celebrate with food, I had a normal lunch, and that was the day that I hit goal. Now, the scale didn't know it. The scale was very far away from telling that I hit goal, but to me at that point, goal was a feeling. I knew from that moment on that I felt good, that things were different, that my life was completely different, and I hit goal that day, and it was probably 2 months later before the scale confirmed what I knew, that I actually hit goals. So the quote that you gave me and the fact that I believe in you and you have to believe in yourself, all that stuff, it's very powerful. You probably heard it rephrased a different way is what the mind can believe, the body can achieve. You've probably heard that, right? If you think you can or you think you can't, either way, you're right. right? That's all of this. Anything that you think is true, your body starts working very hard to prove it for you. So if you wake up and you say it's going to be a terrible day, your whole mindset works the entire day to prove that true because it wants to agree with you. If you wake up and you say it's going to be a great day, I'm going to be on plan all day, I'm going to track to the best of my ability, then all day long your mind remembers that and says, this is what we want to do, then we set out to do that. You have to believe you can do it. And again, what the mind can believe, the body can achieve. So, Barbara, great book recommendation. I will certainly add it to the list for sure. Diane writes in and says, warm summer greetings, FatDag. The dog days of summer doesn't mean vacation from our goals, right? I am tracking every single day, and when I am out of points, I stop eating points. Do you have time for one more celebration? I have lived in morbid obesity, a BMI of 35 or greater, for 27 years, more than a quarter of a century. And yes, I have a very vivid recollection of the moment I was informed that I was now morbidly obese and what that meant. I was at first mortified at the label, but over time, unable to successfully regain a healthier BMI. I simply learned to accept the burden of this. I just didn't see a sustainable path out of morbid, high-risk obesity. This May, I decided to give Weight Watchers a try. I joined on May 1st with a BMI of 41.6. As an online-only member, it was a Monday. You see, the Thursday before I received the labs from my latest doctor's appointment, these numbers were not good. My doctor anticipated adding more medications, but gave me a 6-month reprieve. I have until late October to change things. So, with this disappointing fresh lab numbers still in my hand, I found Weight Watchers online, and I joined. I was all in from the start. I took advantage of every opportunity offered to me, anything to help me stay grounded in the program and focused on my goals. There is an intensity of focus when something imminent is on the horizon in a way that vague in the future events fail to ignite. My deadline is concrete, very real, and fast approaching. I found Connect. I jumped right in. I found your podcast. It made a daily pep talk for me, my daily straight talk. I read all the Weight Watcher online material I can. I watch Oprah's Connect segments, just basically utilizing everything Weight Watchers offers to help its members achieve success. When Weight Watcher Focus Workshops came to my area, I signed up and I attended. I learned new things to help me stay on track, and I met the workshop facilitator who happened to be a leader. She invited me to attend a meeting. I didn't really feel it was necessary. I was doing well as an online-only member, but I decided, what could I lose? It was a game changer. So I switched my membership to online to meetings. I now have more materials to keep me on track, the Weight Watcher Weekly and the other tools, and I feel inspired by those around me in a very real way. Well, here comes the celebration part. I'm a mere 0.2 pounds away from leaving morbid obesity. Mere ounces, literally. Think about this. After 27 years of living in a dangerous BMI category, I'm about to leave it behind. Well, I really thought it would happen at today's weigh-in. I needed 1.2 to make that goal, and I tracked every bite, staying in the healthy blue dot range the entire week. This week, however, my body just decided not to release quite what I needed by the time it was my turn on the scale. And that is perfectly okay. Because what do I care if this happens today, tomorrow, or next week? It does not change what I do. I still track. I still make healthy choices. I still follow the plan and gather inspiration from others on the journey, especially from those who reach their goals. I am grateful that you lifetimers hang in there, sharing with those of us who are lifetimers too, but just haven't reached it yet. You see, FatDag, I am a lifetimer in my mind, just giving my body a chance to catch up. When I get that 0.2 pounds off, leaving morbid obesity behind, my next interim goal is to leave obesity behind completely. I will be crossing into Wonderland later this year. I was last there in 1987, 30 years ago. The journey, as it turns out, is filled with all sorts of joy. It's not deprivation, starvation, or torture. So I'm celebrating my imminent departure from the 27-year shackle of morbid obesity. Thanks in advance for celebrating with me. Joyfully, Diana. Diana, that absolutely gives me chills as I read that email. I can relate, not to the same extent, but when you get news that you weren't expecting and that you're not used to hearing, it is a complete shock. And then, the first time you heard the label, it took you a while to accept it. And I'm very proud of you. And I'm going to kind of bounce around here, because the one of the things that I'm the absolute most proud of is when you said, it doesn't change what I do. That is absolutely where you hit your lifetime. When you made that discovery, when you made that acclamation, when you stood on the scale 0.2 pounds away from a major goal, and you accepted it and you said, doesn't change a thing, that is when you hit lifetime. Right? Now the scale will eventually catch up because you have changed your mind, you have changed your behavior, and you're just continuing to work the program. So that absolutely is worthy of celebration. So congratulations there. Now let's talk about this. When you said, you first got the diagnosis, it took a while, the burden was strong, right? That is why it's so hard for many of us to get back on track. Because at first we refuse to accept these labels. Right? We refuse to say we're obese. We refuse to say we're morbidly obese. We refuse to acknowledge, in my case, that we were put on blood pressure medication. We refuse to accept any of that. Then slowly the realization hits us that it's true. And then we start accepting it. And then we beat ourselves down and we just own it. And rather than trying to fix it, we just kind of succumb to the, I'm morbidly obese. That's just the way it's going to be. Yeah, I'm on blood pressure medicine. It's just the way it's going to be. But not you. You went all in is what completely changed this. You had a hard deadline. I believe hard deadlines certainly help many of us really ignite that fire for sure. But you had that hard deadline. You went all in. You grabbed every single tool like your life depended on it, which it did. You took complete control and you're making a difference. And congratulations on hitting lifetime. I'm very proud of you. And your last sentence, your last paragraph absolutely sums up the entire journey for all of us. The journey, as it turns out, is filled with all sorts of joy. It's not deprivation. It's not starvation. It's not torture. That is so true. For those of us who hit lifetime, we believe that more than you will ever know. Right? That is the difference between hitting lifetime and getting close, is that I celebrate the fact when I say no to an ice cream. That to me feels more powerful than anything else that I do. Sometimes I'm not as powerful. But the days that I am, and the days that I'm living healthy on the plan, and the days that I choose me are the days that absolutely makes me go crazy and jump for joy. So thank you for that. Congratulations on hitting lifetime for sure. Next up, Nicole writes in, says that my mom regularly mentions how she is living off of the fat of the land and needs to lose weight. I don't really remember her dieting a lot though. That may play a role in how I see myself today of never satisfied. My weight has gone up and down a lot, usually within a 15 to 20 pound range. However, since working out and eating well were important, I generally could run a little further or cut back on my portion size and I would lose the weight. As I age, this is becoming harder and harder to do. I have run marathons, obstacle course races, trail races. I've hiked mountains above 14,000 feet. I currently run 2 to 3 times a week, power yoga 3 to 4 times a week, and high-intensity functional movement classes 3 days a week. I am the perfect example of you cannot exercise your way out of a bad diet. I am struggling to lose the last 9 pounds to reach a number I am tied to in my mind. Well, I know you say goal is a feeling, and I've not hit that feeling yet, but I also don't know if the number I want to see on the scale will actually give me that feeling. I am stronger. I am faster than I was 17 pounds ago, yet I know where I was fitness-wise before the complacency of life kicked in and I gained 30 pounds. The why I wrote down is to be comfortable in my body so that I can do anything athletic-wise. fit into clothes that I try on, and be happy to be in the pictures, to be okay to say how much I weigh, and not be tied to the number on the scale and feel confident with myself. Yet I am not sure if this is really my why, as it does not stop me from binging on the weekends or changing my mindset of working out a little harder to offset the binge. I've been stuck in complacency mode now for about 2 months. I know what I need to do to get back into the groove to lose the last 9 pounds. I just need to suck it up and get in my head in the game. However, I'm struggling with resetting that fire underneath me. My goal for August is to get a blue dot every single day for 31 days, as that has been a challenge for me. And by writing this to you, I am making you my accountability buddy and my wingman, and will check in with you at the end of the month to let you know how it goes. Finally, the question I do have is, when you're doing an endurance event, such as a 15-mile trail run or a 7-hour hike, should I track everything I consume during the race, such as electrolyte drinks or gels or dates with peanut butter? Thank you for being our wingman. Take care, Nicole. Well, Nicole, yeah, you are absolutely right. You are working out like a champ. The fitness level you have, I am confident, is you are absolutely an endurance athlete. You are doing a phenomenal job. That alone takes some focus and discipline. I'll summarize this with a story that kind of got me going on one of my weight loss journeys. It didn't stick, but the story never went away. I went in one day to see my doc, and my doc looked at me, and he was very nice to me, and he said, "Hey, Mike, it looks like your weight is creeping up." And I looked at him and said, "Yeah, I know, doc. I get that." And he's like, "Well, what are you going to do?" I said, "Well, I'm going to work out, and of course, and I'm going to go to the gym." And he goes, "Well, what are you going to do at the gym?" And at the time, I'm making all this up, right? Because I didn't have an answer. So I look at the doc and I say, "Well, doc, I'm going to probably just go run on the treadmill." He goes, "Oh, okay, yeah." Well, I'm like, "How long?" Let me ask you something. How long on a treadmill would it take you to burn 500 calories? I said, "I don't know." He said, "Well, it's probably about an hour, right? About an hour run on the treadmill is about 500 calories." I said, "Yeah, that's about right." And I knew I wasn't even coming close to that. And he goes, "Well, let me ask you another thing." He goes, "Would you agree with me that it's probably a lot easier to not eat the Snickers bar than it would be to eat it and try and burn it off?" I said, "Yeah, that's right." He said, "In general terms, the average person needs about 2,000 calories a day to maintain their weight." He goes, "You're eating 3,000 calories. You're busting your tail at the gym, burning off 500. So you're getting 2,500 calories a day, but you think you're doing something. And in essence, you're still overeating. And you're overeating by 1 candy bar." So that is why that tracking is so important. Sure, calories aren't exactly the same as smart points, but the concept is the same. So if you're working out solely for the sake of food and you're still consuming more than your body needs, but you're not burning them off, then the weight gain or the weight maintain is just going to stay there. In order to get in a weight loss mode, you have to have a calorie deprivation so that you're burning more calories than you're consuming. That is the plan. That's why tracking is the most important. So you're absolutely right. And, as you search for your why is to be comfortable in your body. I get all that, and so I would ask you is, at this point, you're certainly complacent. You've admitted it. And I understand that, but are you happy? And if you're complacent and truly happy, then that's fine with me. But if someone posts a photo of you at your endurance event and the first thing you do is go, I don't like that photo of me, well, then that's your drive. Your next race, you want to have the best photo of your life as you cross the finish line. You want to have a photo that you can share with the entire world at the next time you cross an endurance race. That's how you do it. The blue dots that you set for the month of August is absolutely my favorite goal ever. I want you to get 31 blue dots for the month of August. I see a handful of people who says in the stint where they say, "Hey, I would like to get blue dots for 31 days in a row." Now, we certainly know that no one's not perfect, right? I put a post on Twitter the other day asking, what would you choose? Would you choose a healthy weight or would you choose pizza? Would you choose a healthy weight or would you choose nachos? You don't have to get that answer right every single time. But what you have to do is you got to get it more right than you get it wrong. And by you asking yourself to get 31 blue dots for the month of August, that's an incredible accomplishment if you get there. I'm confident if you get there and you get there accurately and honestly, you're going to love the data that you see at the end of the month. I'm confident in that for you. I'm also confident is that if you get 30 days, you're going to have very similar results. I want you to work for 7 a week. I want you to strive for that. And I want you to continue if for some reason that doesn't happen. Because it's the overall consistency of the mindset is what's going to get you there. Now, a goal like this, when you say, I want to hit 31, and on day 3, if you miss it, it's very easy for us at that point to just give up the entire month. If you miss day 3, you pick up on day 4. That's how you do it. So keep up the amazing work. I can't wait to see what you say when you write in. You say you've gotten there. And then to answer your last question, when you're running a 15-mile trail run or a 7-hour hike, do you track the food that you consume during that? Well, that's only something you can answer. And the way I'm going to phrase it is, well, if you were doing that daily, then that's part of your life, and you need to absolutely be accountable to it. If you're doing it once a month, you're probably going to be okay if you forget to track an electrolyte in the middle of your run. You're focusing a little too much on that aspect of it. I want you to focus on the overall eating healthy, being mindful, and not have to worry so much about the 1,000% got to be perfect on the plan. The only thing I want you to be perfect on the plan is by not quitting. As long as you're perfectly not quitting, the rest of it falls into place. Nicole, thank you for your email for sure. Laurie writes in at Angleton, Texas. She says, Dear Mike, I started listening to your podcast when I was getting very close to my goal weight. The closer I got to my goal, the more I started to panic. You see, I've been down this road so many times, I typically have no problem losing weight. I've been on every kind of diet possible, including acupuncture. The last time I lost weight, about 5 years ago, I was eating clean and working out. I would declare to anyone who would listen that I will never gain the weight again. I was loving being thin, and I could eat that way forever. I really did believe it. I don't know exactly when it happened or why, but through the next 5 years, I gained 60 plus pounds. I had reached a point where I thought, why bother? And I'd convinced myself that I'd just be heavy and it was okay. But I wasn't okay, and I wasn't okay with it. With every next size up that I had to buy, I felt more and more defeated. I felt like a fraud. I was not living an authentic life, and I was incredibly unhappy and afraid that I would be revealed for the fraud that I was. Last year on my birthday, instead of going out to dinner with my husband, I walked into a Weight Watchers meeting and I said, I need help. I wasn't sure it would work or that I would stick with it, but I found it to be a very easy program and soon found a meeting where I really connected. I also began to read the Connect post. Before long, I was soaring, and it felt great. But as I got closer to goal, I was afraid that I wouldn't maintain the weight loss, and I wanted to know how maintenance and lifetime would work for me in the Weight Watcher program. I had a hard time finding materials, and the answers I was looking for, well, that's when I found you. Someone on Connect mentioned your podcast. From the very first time I listened, I connected with what you were saying. I felt like you and I were talking the same language. You have gotten me through maintenance and into the promised land of lifetime. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Well, tonight I am listening to episode 89 over and over again. You put into words what I have been feeling and why I know that this time is different. Yes, I am at goal, but it has nothing to do with the number on the scale. It has everything to do with how I feel. I feel like I'm finally living the life I was meant to live and that there is nothing holding me back. I feel fantastic, and I do not want to give that back. I can't imagine anything that I would ever eat that would ever make me feel the way I do now. You said I should ask myself if eating this, fill in the blank with your favorite trigger food, will help me achieve my goal of a happy and healthy life. Bingo! I could not have put it into words, but you did. That will really help me stay centered and balanced. I finally get that this journey I've been on is my life. So there's no reason for me to stop doing what I've been doing. I'm still on a journey and I'm loving it. Thank you for what you do for Weight Watchers community and for your service to our country. You will forever hold a special place in my heart, Laurie. Laurie, thank you for your email. That's incredible. And so here's what I know is what you just shared is incredibly powerful. And so there is a very common theme and a common scare for many of us who get to lifetime is if we don't get there properly, then the ability to regain the weight is a very real possibility. And when I say we don't get there properly, what I mean is you can have very good success on this program by faking it for a long time. You can reach goal by faking it. You can follow the plan, but if you haven't completely adopted the fact that this is for your life, that this is something you have to do for the rest of your life, as soon as you hit goal, you celebrate. It may not take a year. It may take, in your case, like 5 years for you to finally go, I just how I do. But you have to completely change your lifestyle. Now, what I want you to do at this point is I believe you now that you're here for life, but I also want you to set up some triggers along the way that will remind you. In my scenario, I have clothing sizes. I am not purchasing a size too big. I can, within a week and a half, I can drop enough weight to keep a pair of pants fitting if I need to. I know that about my body because I've been tracking my journey long enough. I am not buying the next size up. I don't care. I am not doing it. So that is a trigger that I put in. It's a safety net for me. I will absolutely not get it done. So, happy birthday to you. You walked into your meeting room on your birthday. That's the greatest gift you can give yourself. Congratulations on that. And it did say before long you were soaring and felt great. So that again is it. Now, thank you so much for sharing your journey. The fact that you found the podcast because someone shared it with you. I can't ask for anything more than that. I see it on Connect daily where someone recommends a podcast and then I get an email or I get a note saying, hey, I found your podcast. It changed my mind. It changed my thinking. That's all I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get you to go with me. Being on Team Lifetime, being, an ambassador for Goal or an ambassador for Lifetime, whatever you want to call it, being in that mindset is where I want some company. It's lonely over here. There's a handful of us, thousands of us that have reached Lifetime, but the world is so big and this journey is so wonderful that when you get here and you stay here for life, we share it with everybody else. And that just is a great feeling. Now, one of the questions I asked myself, and I heard this on Twitter the other night, is every chance you get to have something and you're asking, you ask yourself, food, there is no neutral to food. It's either good for you or bad for you. It's either fueling your dreams or it's hindering your dreams. You need to ask yourself that question every time before you sit down and have something to eat. And then you need to follow it up with, am I okay with that? So if you say, hey, I'm getting ready to eat this, whatever it is it helpful or hurtful? There may be a time when you say, well, it's not exactly in line with my goals, but today I'm okay with that. And then you make the conscious decision to have it anyway. That is the balance that this program allows us to have, is you can have anything you want on this journey. You have to track it. You got to be mindful to it. And if for some reason you fall off the plan, the next meal, you get up and say, I'm back. So, Laurie, congratulations on making the lifestyle adjustment you need to keep this forever. Last up, Stacy out of Arizona writes in and says, Mike, I just want to take a moment to reach out to share with a member named Aaron, whose email you read in episode 92. My initial why was also to overcome infertility challenges and to expand my family. I lost 93 pounds on Points Plus in 2012 and was finally able to see the positive test results. I am now the proud mama of 2 wonderful boys, and I'm working the plan again to be here for them and to be active with them for as long as I can. This is my 4th time on Weight Watchers, and I'm down over 58 pounds since December of 2016. I know that this is the time that I will reach my healthy goal weight. I'm doing it for me and for my 2 whys. Infertility is a very difficult journey, especially when adding medical complications and weight loss to it. I'm not on Connect, but I would love to be able to support Erin along in her journey. If it's possible, can you forward my email to her? Bottom line is I want her to know, with determination and focus, she can and she will do this. Never give up or lose hope. Stacy, thank you so much for that email. Congratulations to you. That's an amazing accomplishment. I forwarded your email along to Erin. She's going to get the email, and I'm sure it's going to make her day. So thank you for sharing. Folks, this is exactly why we do this show. This is why I ask you to write in with your stories, because no matter who what you have going on, we all have similarities along this journey. And the similarities will resonate with somebody. For a long time, we think we're walking this journey alone, and we're really not. We just haven't found our accountability buddy. We haven't found the person who's doing exactly what we're doing. When you post on Connect, depending on whether it hits trending or doesn't hit trending, depending on the view, it may not be seen by the people who need to see it. So you need to continue posting. You need to share your story with every possible avenue so that somebody else who's walking this journey can understand that they have someone who's walking it with them. Thank you absolutely for your email. Congratulations on your amazing accomplishment. Keep up the great work. That is absolutely something worth celebrating. What is it that you're celebrating? Let's share it. Let's share it on the air. Go to FatDag.com. Click on Listen Now. There's a form at the bottom where you can send in your email. If you send it in to onair@FatDag.com, include your name, your Connect username, a way to get a hold of you. But I want your emails because I want to celebrate with you. I want others to know what you're doing. I want you to be proud of what you're doing. Because as a community, we know that we're better together and we absolutely can get this done. Well, that's going to do it for this time. Remember that losing weight and getting healthy has nothing to do with luck. You have to remain disciplined and focused. Set your sights on your goals and go after it. I wish you good focus.